So we're back on our podcast, and today we're back in with Seb and a very special guest as well, Luca. Sign off with Seb. How you doing, man?
Yeah, not bad, but of course, I'm still not over the weekend and last week. Oh, we've had better weeks as Arsenal fans, but yeah, we just got
Yeah,
to
of
get back
course.
to go quickly.
Of course, we've got Luca as well, a new guest to this podcast. And how you doing, Luca?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Thanks for inviting me round. Um, it's all good, and but yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. So we're going to be discussing, of course. Well, our main topic is going to be, of course, the Arsenal manager, Mikel Arteta, and whether he should be sacked yet or not. And I'm
Right.
going to really spread out that this guy put on Twitter, basically all his sackable offensives. So we're going to go through that as well. But starting off, let's talk about the games in general. Our past two games, Crystal Palace 3-0 against Arsenal, and of course Arsenal losing 2-1 to Brighton. Sign off the Palace game. Seb, what were your thoughts on that absolute shit, mate, against Crystal Palace?
Well, it was terrible. It was like the players just didn't turn up. We just didn't. And yeah, it was a lack of urgency. And the thing is that after those performances, especially against Wolves and against Villa, I was expecting the team to come out firing and like, right, we know we're good at these away games because Arsenal have actually got better at sorting out games like that. But it just looked like it was just back to where we were the last couple of seasons. Crystal Palace literally bullied us. They literally took it to us from the first minute. We just never got going. The first I was at that game, and the first 10 minutes, you just knew exactly where it was going. And once the goals went in, you just didn't seem to get back in it. However, in the second half, again, this is proving why we don't have that strike or we don't have enough goals because we had two good chances that second half. We could have easily pulled it back and then could have been a different ending. But I personally think what happened in January, the way we messed it up and actually weakened the squad, is coming back to haunt us because you're seeing it both goal scoring, you're seeing it both with injuries, you're seeing it both in the midfield. It's just been a complete. To be honest with you, that last week couldn't have gone any worse, and also with the injuries as well to Tierney and Partey. We've got Tommy Ashley still out, so and with Spurs literally blitzing both Newcastle and Aston Villa on top of their win against West Ham before the break, it literally just couldn't have gone any worse.
Yeah, man. I agree with you. Obviously, it was very, very embarrassing. 3-0 to Crystal Palace. Who loses 3-0 to Crystal Palace? I mean, only us in it. So, Spurs did as well, didn't they? Back in when was it?
Yeah, back in September.
They lost as well. Yeah. Luca, what was your thoughts on the Palace game, mate? I thought it was
my thoughts on the Palace game. Well, it was an absolutely diabolical performance, and we go back to the Palace game last Monday. It was an opportunity to. We were on a bit of a good run at the moment, coming from losing to Liverpool, beating in Aston Villa, teams like that, coming back from the international break, playing Crystal Palace on the Monday night. You're thinking, you know what? It's an opportunity. Even me and you spoke about it off air. We weren't even confident going that game. And you were right. And I thought we would have got something out of the game in a way, yes and no. And we were poor. And Palace deserved to win the game. Vieira masterclass, Mikel Arteta. And for me, I was thinking, right, okay, we go again into the Brighton game. And I was thinking, you know what, Palace, these teams happen. It happens, yeah? So for me, you're thinking, yes, it's a massive opportunity to really, really push for that top four spot. But no, Vieira masterclassed us. And what was Ben White doing on the first goal? Ball watching. Even the second goal as well. The third goal giving a penalty away as well. And for me, it was shocking. And then we go into that Brighton game on the weekend thinking Manchester United lost to Everton. You're thinking, yes, Arsenal got a big opportunity to really go 6 points clear of Manchester United. But no, we never turned up against Brighton. And people saying that this manager's fucking good enough, yeah? People think that people want to trust the fucking process. What is there to trust, yeah? We're 5 points ahead of Wolves, right? And Wolves are in 8th place. We could mathematically still finish in 8th place. Yeah. And what Sebastian said is spot on, right? Right. The January transfer window is sort of trying to bite us back a little bit, yeah, because we had opportunities to sign a midfielder in the transfer market, right? Right. Okay, they weren't big names, but we were linked to players like Ronaldo, Sanchez, and Arthur, right? Then a striker, right? We were sitting all day and sitting basically most of the transfer market, right? It's 31 days in the transfer market, right? 24 days we were just sitting there chasing down Vlahovic. He never wanted to come in the first place. You could have gone for other strikers out there available, which probably would have been decent. Not the strikers what you need to replace, but at least bring someone in that's going to actually be good. And we didn't do that. We sat there and Mikel Arteta got rid of Aubameyang. You let him go on a free. And yet again, another player running down his contract again. Started to do that again, where we could have sold Lacazette. But then he bins Callum Chambers to Villa, Kolasinac. Sure, it's understand getting rid of all these deadwood players, right? But you're not bringing anyone in, which is really kind of worrying. And this is worrying the position now. And this is why I don't think we get top 4. And you look at the table now. Manchester United are that bad, right? I backed Manchester United to get top 4 this season, but not now, man. Not now. Not the way they played on the weekends. And we've got difficult games coming up. We've got Southampton on Saturday away. I'm not confident going into that game. And then we've got Chelsea. Then we've got Manchester United, West Ham, and Spurs. Yeah. So these games are going to be really difficult. And the only way I think we can get top 4 is we have to pick up these wins. We have to win some games and get some points out of the belt and hope Tottenham lose, because this proves, right, that we've got a PE coach, right, thinking he's the right man for the manager, the best-looking Spaniard. You know, oh, yeah, wait. Our fan base is saying, right, oh, yeah, trust the process. We've got Super Mikel Arteta, Tierney at the back, Gabby in attack. No, mate, we're on our way to the Europa League.
Literally, man. Like,
we're not getting Champions League football.
We're not getting Champions League. You know, what was we thinking? At the end of the day, you had Crystal Palace, right? You expected a reaction to the Brighton game. And it's just the same old... well, especially in that first half, yeah? We just it looked like we continued off when we played against Crystal Palace. So what was your thoughts on the Brighton game? Was it...
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that was just as bad. We literally never got going until the last 10, 15 minutes. We literally never got going. And that defeat is solely 100% on the manager. Because, like, the midfield, we got Thomas Partey out. But don't weaken it even further by taking Xhaka out of midfield and moving him to left back when he doesn't know what he's doing. You've got Tavares on the bench. And, yes, he's had a couple of bad games. But, so, Lacazette's had a lot of bad games and he's still in the team every week. And Tavares is actually a decent left back and he's still very young. And Mikel Arteta even said in his press conference the other day, he needs a run of games, he needs a good form, this is his chance. But when you're dropping him and putting Xhaka out there, weakening the midfield even further, what message is that also sending out to him? Because this is why we bought Tavares, because we had this issue with Tierney last season when he was injured, which affected our Europa League.
Oh, a few months in, when the West Ham won it.
Yeah, and this is why we bought Tavares, so these things don't happen. And he was actually doing all right until like against Forest, and then he hooked him at 30 just after 30 minutes, which was wrong because yes, he wasn't having a good game that game, but who did apart from Leno? Who did? I can understand him hooking him at half-time against Palace because the system needed to be changed. But I didn't understand it at Forest. And then you lie on Lokonga to run the midfield park on his own when he's up against Bissouma and that other player who scored the goal, who scored a good goal, by the way. I'm like, that's sitting, that's asking for trouble, and that is mental, what he did. And then what happened? And then what got exposed? What happened? It's like you kind of knew what you were getting when you saw that. You kind of knew. And, like, this manager sets records left, right and centre because that's our first time we've lost a home game at 3 o'clock since 2013. Another record. And that's the first time Brighton have won a Premier League game in April. Another record. And they hadn't scored and they hadn't won a game in 7. And then, hey-ho, Arsenal turned up. Mikel Arteta, here you go. Here's the 3 points. Because that was the reason why we lost the game.
Manager breaks wrong types of records. Like, literally, all the time. She's all these records that haven't been broken. He just breaks them. So I just think that would be step for me. And, yeah, I agree with what you said. Like, with Nuno Tavares as well, right? Do you realise how much that will affect his confidence now when he plays for Arsenal?
Big time.
Granit Xhaka playing in front of him when he's not even a left back.
Yeah, what kind of mindset is he going to be in when he's put back in the team next? What kind of mindset is that going to do? Because this is now, we need him firing more than ever. Now we've got no Kieran Tierney. You've actually got a proper left back on the bench. Or if you're not going to trust him, I'd rather he took someone out of the youth and put in a left back who knows what they're doing over than weakening someone in the midfield who doesn't know what he's doing. Because I feel sorry for Tavares, I feel sorry for the Conga, and I also feel sorry for all these youngsters. Because these youngsters, Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, they cannot carry the team all season long. You just can't do that. What youngsters need to be doing is they need to be having experienced players around them who they look up to. And also have one of them as like a mentor or something, you know what I mean, to help them. But when we had Jack Wilshere's team, men looking up to Cesc Fabregas, that's how you develop. And before, when young Fabregas was in the team, he was looking up to mentors like Vieira and Gilberto. He was looking up to them. Who is Saka and Smith Rowe and Martinelli looking up to?
Exactly.
I just can't see it. Luke,
what was your thoughts on...
What's my thoughts on what?
Yeah, man, so I agree. Luke, what was your thoughts on Granit Xhaka playing left back over Nuno Tavares?
To be honest, Granit Xhaka playing as the left back, I think that's a bit wrong, to be honest. That's where the weakness point was, because at the end of the day, right, you do not play Granit Xhaka at left back because it doesn't work, right? Last season in the Europa League, when we had injuries, right, he played Xhaka at left back before and it never worked. So if you want to play someone at left back, you drop Saka at left wing back, and then you end up playing possibly Pepe comes into the position and then you play Pepe on the right. It will make sense. So, you know what I mean? So, and this is the problem with Arteta. And I think on the weekend, the formation cost us. So you don't play Xhaka at left back, whereas you can play Saka at left wing back, and I think it will work because don't forget, right, he's actually played there in the past.
Is he gone?
Do you get one coming from? Hello, can anyone hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry, Luca, I'm back. Yeah, man. But yeah, anyway, we're going to talk about Mikel Arteta now. I'm thinking, Seb, what's your thoughts on Mikel Arteta for now? And then I'll read out the threads.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I've since the Villarreal loss, I was him out. And then I will admit, I was starting to turn the corner after those wins in February and March. I was starting to think maybe he seems to get it, but I was never saying give this guy a new contract, and I said don't give him a contract yet, and I've certainly never got carried away with all this, because now from the end of the season, from now how he deals with this is where he earns his money, and he's already messed up again at Brighton, just like he messed up last season at Villarreal with what he did, something similar to that, and the false 9 when you had a couple strikers on the bench. And against Everton when he messed up. I'm sorry, but now with this manager, there is literally no more excuses. No more excuses. Because if Unai Emery or Arsene Wenger had done this, when they did, most of his fan base were literally calling for their heads and the way we hounded them out of this club. But I'm like, we've got to be consistent with all this, because the same energy is not with Mikel Arteta as it was with Unai Emery and Arsene Wenger. And we were so quick to hound them both out this club, particularly Unai Emery. We jumped on them. And this manager has to take a fair amount of the blame. And people can come up with excuses left, right, and centre to back this man. And yes, I understand if they're Arteta in, that's fine. But when he gets it wrong, you have to criticise, because I am never afraid to criticise. You have to call him out, because look at these things. First of all, there is no more excuses. He was backed in the summer. He spent over nearly 150 million. When you spend that, you have to improve. Another thing, we had no European football. And when most teams that do that, they take advantage of that full season to make sure they get back to where they want to be. So that's another excuse. That's no excuse as well. And people can always go back on those first 3 games saying, oh, but after the first 3 games, if you'd asked me if you'd be in this position, I'll bit in your hand off. So there is progress. No. What happens, the season goes along, things change. And we've worked hard to get in this top 4 race like we did over the last couple of months, and all we're doing is messing it up now. And you cannot fault, I'm sorry, I cannot fault that he is probably doing his best. He probably is. But also he's made some big monumental mess ups, which are inexcusable. January, like we said earlier, why didn't you buy a striker that could score goals? And even if it wasn't the one that you could have got, get someone in like a stopgap. Or a midfielder as well. Because we're light in midfield, even now more so, with Partey injured. Why didn't we go out and get these players? Because we were in a good position come December. All we needed to do was to go out there and get a couple of additions in January. We didn't do that. In fact, what we did is weaken the squad. And people go on about, oh, Aubameyang, we shouldn't have let him go. We shouldn't have let him go. I think he should. I think it was time for him to go. I didn't have a problem with that. But the real problem I had was not replacing him. If you're going to get rid of players, you're going to have to replace him, because we got rid of him. We sent Maitland-Niles out unknown, which was ridiculous in the first week because we had literally no cover. We got rid of Mari. We got rid of Kolasinac. And who did we buy in? No one. Doesn't matter what you think of them. If you don't replace, you're still weakening the squad. And that is exactly what we did. And that is down to Mikel Arteta and Edu. And if you can't get your main targets, don't tell me players like Philippe Coutinho or Ollie Watkins wouldn't have come in and done a better job than what you're seeing right now. Because I honestly think they would have improved. Because Watkins can score goals. Coutinho's hitting it at Villa. He's made a big difference to that team. These are the type of players we need. Like, sorry for waffling on. Sorry, I just need to get this off my chest. Because dare I look over at Spurs? Because
no problem, man. It's all good.
They acted quickly before it was too late. I think it was in October, November time with Conte, because they knew Nuno wasn't working. They knew it was all going wrong. So they acted quickly before it was too late. We would have probably wasted half a season like we did with Arteta last year when it was clearly not going wrong. And then what did Conte do in January? He didn't get his main 2 targets, but he got decent plan Bs.
This is
the difference they're making.
Enough, in my opinion.
So this is the difference they're making. And they're helping Son and Kane firing. And now look where they are now. In a top four, leading the race. Scoring goals left, right, and centre. They have scored 14 goals in their last 4 games. How many have we scored in our last 4 games? 2. And that ain't good enough. So I'm sorry, we need to raise these standards here. If there's no top 4 this season, he has to go. And I'm not into all this, 5th, 6th. That's a decent season. 5th, 6th. I'm sorry, where has that come from? Because like I've said, backed in the summer, no European football, in the top 4 in our hands in April. I'm sorry, there is no more excuses for this guy. He earns his money, or he doesn't get rewarded for a new contract. And that's my stance I have to say on that. If he gets it wrong, I will call him out left, right, and centre. And I've given him his props, his praise, when it's due. But now, I'm sorry, there is no more excuses. He's been here long enough. Start earning your money or get out. Sorry.
Yeah, just checking. Luca, I don't know where he's gone. Hold on. Where's Luca gone?
Sorry.
Lucas Seb.
There's still a bit of problem.
Where's Luca gone, mate?
I'm sorry, man. I lost signal. You may have to.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear Luca?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Right, that's good.
Luca, what is your thoughts on Mikel Arteta?
My thoughts on this manager, right? It's not good enough at the end of the day. This manager needs to go, in my opinion. Yes, at the start of the season, we had a bit of a bad start. And for me, he has to go. He has to go because this manager, we lost the first 3 games, right? And then we went into the international break, knowing in September this manager was under pressure. You're thinking he's going to get sacked, 0 points. And then he has turned it around in some circumstances because no one expected us for him to get us into a top 4 race near towards the end of the season, which is positive. But I'm still Mikel Arteta out because he hasn't gone to address the issues in the January transfer window where we needed a midfielder, where we needed a striker, right, to come in and actually, because he had a chance in January, all right? He had a chance to actually build and get top 4 in January. And now we've put ourselves into a position that we can still get top 4. We have to rely on results and we'll have to win all our games, which is not going to happen. So for me, if he gets top 4, right, which is very unlikely, but if he does get top 4, he gets another season, in my opinion. And he has to build from that and try and maintain it for next season. No good getting top 4 one season, right? And then you're not going to do it again next season, which is otherwise, what's the point getting top 4? So for me, this manager, right, he needs to improve things because he has failed for me, right? People saying, oh, this manager is the best looking Spaniard you know. Well, he's not. Okay, this manager is a rookie, mate. This manager is a PE teacher, got no experience whatsoever. Yeah. So this manager has to go, in my opinion, if he doesn't get top 4. Because how can people say to me, right, and a couple of people saying to me, right, oh, finishing 5th place is acceptable, to be honest. Finishing
no,
5th.
No. That's poor.
Oh,
That's terrible. No.
I'm sorry, but how can people say to me, right, oh, 5th place is achievable this season?
Oh.
Not really, because Arsene Wenger did it once and finished 5th or 6th. Unai Emery finished 5th, right, and we didn't win nothing. So technically, no, 5th is not good enough in my. If it was in his first season, I can understand. But no, Arteta's been here for 3 years, and no, it's sackable offence in my opinion. How can people say, oh, yeah, we've improved. Yes, next season we're going to get top 4. Oh, we're going to get a couple of decent signings that's going to improve the team. Not really. I'll tell you why. Because being in the Europa League, right, is not what I want, okay? Because we've got players like Saka and Smith Rowe and that, right? So for me, these players are going to get injured and we have to be playing Sunday, Monday, Thursday. We don't want that. We need Champions League football. We're a big club here, so people have got to realise that. And we've put ourselves into this mess. And January's really cost us. And if we don't get top 4 at the end of the season, this manager has to go, and the manager will be like, okay, but I could be under pressure next season, right? If I don't get top 4 with this team, yeah. No, he doesn't deserve another chance. This manager gets what he needs to get. If he doesn't get top 4, the manager has to go. I don't care if, like, I'm going to ask you a question, Sebastian, right? If he gets 5th place and Stan Kroenke and the board back him in the summer, right? Does he deserve another chance?
No, because also you got to think about it in this way. It's not Man United who've spent all that money. Who's with them? They should be possibly challenging. It's not Man United above us.
100% agree.
It's Spurs, and that ain't good enough. That ain't on. So no. He doesn't get that, he walks.
He has to go, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, go on.
No, has to go, because how can people set 5th place, right? It's like, was it the 16,
Exactly.
17? Um,
Yeah, 2016-17. Yeah,
5th once and won the FA Cup. So technically, no, this manager shouldn't do it. If he gets top 4, he 100% gets another season. But do you think we'll get top 4? Personally, I don't think so.
probably not now. Well, it's not completely out of the question, but it's highly unlikely now after those last 2 losses, and we've got harder games still to come. And Tottenham have an easier run in, and they're starting to hit form at the right time. Sadly, I don't see them crumbling. So I hate to say it, but I don't think it's happening. I don't want to completely write off.
No, I don't think it will.
Unless these next 4 games is Southampton, Chelsea, Man United, and West Ham. Unless out those next 4 games we get minimum 10 points, then it could be back on. But are we?
No, I don't see that happening.
Then it could be back on.
I wouldn't be surprised if we lose all those games. I actually would not be surprised.
Yeah, neither.
That is a possibility, sadly.
Surely, if we lose to Southampton, right, Arteta's got to get sacked. Do you agree with that or not?
Oh, we lose to Southampton, that's gone. There's no chance coming back from that. No way. And that ain't going to be an easy game because they've just come back of a 6-0 smashing, and they'll be desperate to get back on track after that. And we don't always do well there.
No, we don't.
We better watch out. We better be on our game. And this manager better pick the right team and start making some changes and start earning his money.
Yeah, I just didn't agree. Luca, do you think that we're going to get top 4 this season with Arteta?
No,
and if Arteta does get top 4, right, will we be backing him for the next season?
I don't think we'll get top 4 this season or next season, to be honest, because the reason why, right, we've put ourselves into this mess. We didn't address the January issues, and coming at the end of the season, they're going to come out and say an excuse, right? Okay, the problem was we didn't address anything in January. Whereas, okay, fair enough. Why did they not come and say that right at the beginning? And we would have been like, would have been like, okay, fair enough. It's understandable. But no, for me, no, because that's what they're going to do. Because at the end of the day, right, if you don't get top 4, it's unachievable, in my opinion. And you're going to bring in players like Calvert-Lewin and all them lot. I don't want Calvert-Lewin. Okay, how much?
Neither.
No, me neither. No.
Calvert-Lewin a few months ago, until he got injured. Nah, not now. Not what I've seen. Not scored a Premier League goal since August. It's embarrassing, man. And for me, I just look at it, right. It all depends what's going to happen because we've got difficult games. I can't see us beating Chelsea. I can't probably get a draw against Southampton. Lose to Chelsea. Manchester United, Ronaldo will probably turn up. You don't know that.
Yeah.
So he loves turning up against Arsenal.
Probably. That is a possibility.
A possibility, mate. United always raise their game against Arsenal. You see what it is. So that's what people tend to forget, despite people say United is shit. So we'll probably end up drawing.
Who is our last game of the season, by the way?
Everton at home.
Everyone at home, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I know they're doing shit, but every time we play Everton, we seem to do bad. So.
They've won the last 3 times against us, and also if they go into that game needing the points to stay up, we are in trouble. That's going to be difficult, so we can't take that.
Jesus, Do you guys think, right, that the Spurs game will be the top 4 decider, or do you think it will all be done by then, and we ain't going to get top 4?
I think it'll be done by then.
Well,
you think it'll be done by then? What about you, Seb?
Well, I'll say I still think it will have a part to play. I don't think it'll be wrapped up by then. I think if we lose, then there's no chance. But I still very much think that's now a game we have to win. It can still play a part because also they'll drop points, and also Spurs will go into that game on the back of playing Liverpool at Anfield. So depending on obviously on how we do, and I still think that is still an important game, regardless of what position we're in or whether we have clawed it back or whether we haven't. I still think it will play in the part, but it just means we have to win. But oh dearie me, and also one other thing I wanted to say is that when people say 5th is a decent season, You also got to think. You've also got to think about this. Put it into perspective. If it's Man United above us, who have spent all that money and actually were having a decent season, a better season than this, maybe you could use that as something. But you can't use Spurs above us.
No.
You cannot, because the thing is, if you look at their squad all round, it's not better than ours. They've got a good manager and they've got a good strike force, and their 2 new signings as well has made a difference. That is the difference. So, and it's Spurs. I'm like, it will be the 6th season in a row they've finished above us, and the fact that we've even thinking about that is just beyond laughable. It's beyond awful. So think about that as well. It's Spurs above us that's likely going to do it, not Man United, who have spent all that money and bought in those players and actually got some match winners. It's Spurs. I'm like, come on, people. I get your fair opinions, but people just need to think about things properly and raise the standards a little bit.
I do, and this is the problem. This is the problem with our fan base, right? People don't have the standards to raise the standards. And people need to start realising that we need to get this manager out, okay? And that's something where I don't understand.
Yeah, well, that's when it's what's going to happen. I mean, we better beat Southampton. If we lose Southampton, right, it will generally be so embarrassing. Like, can't be 3 games in a row, right? And we've lost to 3 teams that we should be on paper absolutely battering, right? So we have to wait and see what happens. We're going to wrap it up now. I want to thank Luca and Seb for coming on. Luca, where can they find you? Just let them know.
Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you can. This is Luca's Life. We do Arsenal content, day out vlogs and all that stuff. We just reached to 1.6k 2 days ago. Next milestone is to get 2k by the end of the season, or actually start of next season, tell a lie. So we just reached 1.6k. So we're about 400 subscribers, 395 subscribers away from 2k. So get subscribing, man, and I'll subscribe back to the favour as well. And follow me on Twitter, Martinelli AFC. Thank you for being on.
No problem, Luca, man. You're always welcome. And Seb, what about you? Where can they find you, of course, on Twitter?
Well, yeah, I'm also on Twitter. I'm also do work for the Arsenal Lounge. So I write articles weekly, and also I do an Instagram page called Talk Arsenal FC where I post all things Arsenal every day. And yeah, you can always find me on there. And yeah, I'm there. And yeah. And first of all, sorry I spoke so angry in that loss. It's just how I just feel. It's just
no problem, man. It's all good.
It's just been poor, and I did also say to you, thank you, and I did also say that this is the worst time to go on a bad run. And also, I just want to say that Arsenal fans have different opinions, and I've got no problem with that because we're fans at the end of the day. We support the same club. We should be together. But what I don't like seeing is that, oh, you're an Arteta out. Oh, you're an Arteta in. Oh, you can't change your mind. Oh, you get abused. Or you get slagged off for it. That shouldn't be the case. People should be entitled to their opinions, and I've made mine very clear, and I stick by them. And whether people like it or not, fair enough. But like I said, we should respect each other's opinions as well, because also, if we want the club to do well, we have to unite as a fan base, because we can't keep having a split fan base like we did under Wenger, because you can tell the players will feed off that and it will go round. We have to unite as a fan base as well. So have your opinions, keep it peace, and then we go from there.
Yeah, cheers, Seb. Cheers, Luca. Make sure you smash that button. Subscribe if you want to as well, and come on, you Gunners. Hopefully get a win against Southampton.
Come on, you Reds. Keep pushing.